I'm going to bring up to the stage somebody who is truly an authentic and amazing woman. She is so wild. When I first met her, I thought she was freaking crazy. But I loved every second of it. I just didn't announce it. But she is so wild. She's truly an example of a raw voice and a mother. She's an entrepreneur. She's an event creator, a collaborator, a yogini. I didn't even know what that was. Is that real? Are we just making up words now? But she's also an author. And I read her book. I thought I knew her, right? I was like, oh my gosh. I'm going to read this book and be like, oh, I know all these stories. I did not. I did not. She's an author of Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. It's one of our rising bestsellers. Did you know that? Woo! Ha-ha. Get it today. But when this woman walks in the room, she lights it up on anything that she's doing. So I definitely want you guys to welcome owner of Sexy Freedom and host of the Sexy Freedom podcast. Bring to the stage and welcome with applause, Helen Edwards.
You want to do in this world? Put your mind to it, put your grind to it, and you can do it. Get up, get out, get motivated, get inspired, get your motherfucking shine. Get up.
Yeah! Get up! I told you.
Thank you. Woo. Yeah, who's Papa here? Thank you so much for showing up. Showing up is what you did, and that to me means so much. I'm nervous right now, not because I haven't spoken in front of tons of people before, but because I'm about to share a story that means I have to go back in time. I don't like to go back in time because my past is very full of pain. I might be the first person to cry on the stage. I was surprised nobody cried before. Let me just take this off here. So, showing up is what I teach. I'm a retreat leader, and I teach this out in the workshops, and I teach people how to show up, how to create action, take action, and execute what their goals are. Does anybody in here have goals? Raise your hands if you have goals. We get in our own ways, obviously, because that's really what happens. So I go and I teach and I preach about how to get out of your own way, and I give you the tools from where you're at to get there. But was I always somebody who showed up? No. In fact, let's take a journey to the past here. See, there was this little boy. He was the most precious thing on the face of this planet. He was so cute and everything to me. He was my world. And at 6 years old, I knelt down and I grabbed his shoulders and I said, everything's gonna be okay. I'll be back for you. And then I started to walk away and he said, Mom, I'm gonna be okay. I just hope you are. He was so brave. And I walked out the door and I didn't return and I didn't come back from. And that was one of the hardest things I ever had to do in my life. And because at that moment I realized what I did, I invited grief into my life. Now, grief, you think you can take on grief. Grief has been around for ancient times. Grief will take you down a path that will destroy you. And I thought to myself, I hear stories all the time. People meet me and they'll say, I'm so strong, I'm a single mom, I'm so strong. And I thought I would give anything to be a single mom. So I started to hurt myself and punish myself for walking out of my son's life. So I self-sabotaged in many relationships. I made sure I could never have a kid again, so I went and got my coils burned. I couldn't be with any men who had young children because I couldn't bear the thought of taking care of another child when I couldn't take care of my own. Now, it's not that I didn't want to be a mom. It's not that I was on drugs. There was nothing wrong with me. I was going through a divorce. And I had watched my ex-husband walk out of my son's life many times for the first 5 years. He would leave and then he'd come back, and then he'd leave and he'd come back. And I'd watch my son's heart just break every single time. And as a mom, as a dad, as a parent, you don't want to see your child suffering. It hurts. And when we decided to go through our divorce 8 years later, I fought. I went to court, I did the whole court thing. I took my entourage with me, my girls, and we all rallied up and we're all there. And I didn't have a car, so I called my ex-husband, can you give me a ride? He was pissed about it, but he said, okay. And he said, why do you have your whole entourage here? And I said, I need backup, just in case. He said, in case of what? What am I gonna do? We're trying to figure out the custody. Well, if you've been through the courts, it's hell. You don't want to go there. So they got us a mediator, and the mediator had us try to figure it out. And I remember getting on the phone call with a friend that night, and he said some words that forever changed my life. He said he's a good dad. He's making the money. He wants to take care of his son. I wish my dad had done that. And he said these words, Helen, why don't you just let a man raise a man? And at that moment I realized, okay, it's the hardest thing I ever had to do. So when we went to court the next time, I gave up my sole custody rights to let a man raise a man. And that young boy, his name's Bear. Bear, I call him Bear. He's now 19 years old. He's amazing. He's in the Air Force. I'm an Air Force mom, it's amazing. But a man has rose, I don't know the right way to say it, has risen a man. And I am so proud. But during those years, having my son come to me and having to say bye every time was like the grief starting all over again. I was a mom who had to pay child support. And because of the grief, like I said, I self-sabotaged my life. I got into alcohol, and I partied 5 to 7 nights a week with 3 jobs to support my habits. And I tried to kill myself a few times. One night I remember drinking so much, and I thought, I don't care who I kill on the freeway. I just hope it's me. I got in my car and I drove recklessly, and I just think of those times like I was so full of pain. But something was growing inside of me, and I didn't quite understand it. But I wrote a chapter on it in my book, and it's called The 3 Heads of Her. And I realized, just like the Trinity, I have a Trinity within me. Like a dragon that has 3 heads. My first was the demon. The demon within me likes to destroy, self-sabotage, self-doubt, self-loathe, feel sorry for myself, physically, mentally, spiritually, hurt myself. Then there's the healer. The healer has been there forever, just fa la 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 la. You know, wants to see this world a peaceful place, is the one who transpired, let's go climb the woo-woo tree. The healer is all about that hippie, gypsy love. And then I slowly started to notice there was a third emerging. And that third was the warrior. And it's almost like the warrior was sitting back the whole time, just kind of kicking it, like, I feel like, no, it's not time. You got to go through all this stuff. You got to go through it. You got to, no, I'm not coming out. I'm here, but I'm just, you need to go through it. And then when the warrior decided to come out, it started when I used to come to events like this, because I was desperate. I was desperate to figure out a way that I can make money, because I thought money was going to solve all my problems. Money was going to pay off the back child support and all the child support I own. It was going to make me available for my son for all these events that I'm missing in his life. It's going to help me get closer to him. Because if I had the money, I wouldn't have to work these 3 jobs. And a few years ago, my brother fell in the same position as me. He ended up getting served with child support payments or papers, and I remember talking to him, and he was freaking out. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I had already started on this journey by myself because I didn't know there was help out there at the time. I wasn't on Facebook, I was more just trying to figure out my life with my friends. And my brother, he said, 2 years ago, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't be away from my kids. I don't know how to pay this child support. I said, listen to me, little brother. I've been there. I know it's hard. We'll get through it. I'm writing a book right now. Wait till that book's out. You're going to be my marketing guy. We're going to make so much money. We're going to be able to see our kids. And that was the plan. So, with these 3 jobs and my broke ass, I thought, how am I going to do this? I have nothing to give. I don't have money to invest to make money. And I read a book by Zig Ziglar years ago, and I remember his story. He was talking about how he just jumped in his car and went to shelters and started there. And I thought, I could do that. I know the streets. I'm from the streets. I could do this. I will go, and I'll get in the shelters, and that'll be my way to give back, because I feel like the universe is saying, if you give back, you're going to get in return. So I'll start there. So I used to go to the shelters once I got cleared to get in. And it was just me and my little boom box. And then a few of my friends started coming with me to help me out. And I would tell them, I'd create these little worksheets, things that I just read in books, and I'd say, I'm going to do this with you because we're on the same path. We're doing this together. We're going to climb together. There's no watch me rise in my world. There's a come with me, we rise together. So I taught for 4 years. I learned a lot about people. I even had a guy with schizophrenia get in my face and just start screaming at me, and he's spitting all over me. And I remember I told Carrie this story. I was shaking. I was so pissed. I was like, this mofo don't get out of my face. But I had to hold composure. And he was mad at me because he said, you don't know what we're going through. You don't know. Talking about all this positive stuff up in here. And I remember thinking, oh my God, is he right? And I left that day and I called my dad and I said, Dad, this guy, my dad's laughing. Non, they call me Non, don't worry about it. They're just in a dark place. It's okay, keep doing what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. And my dad was so proud of me. That conversation I had with my dad about that guy and just telling him everything that was going on, he was so proud of me. And I was even like, Dad, when you come out to Phoenix and you see what I'm doing, I'm going to help you too. I'm going to help you get your life together. And he was like, I look forward to it. Well, 2 weeks later, my dad passed. And that grief again. And I wilded out, I spiraled. But then I got it together because I spring back. The way I work is I fall, but then I spring back even further forward. Because I use that fuel to get me to spring even harder and further. Farther sounds best to me. So I started speaking at the shelters and doing the partying, at the same time, because I love to dance. I love to rally, I love to party. It was some of the best years of my life. And it helped me keep going, to be honest. Partying helped me to keep going and look forward to something because I was dying inside from the grief. Well, I was the girl, like I said, who showed up at all the events, and I'm the how-to girl. Oh, I hear you doing these great things, speaker, but how do I do that? How do I make these moves? How do I get to where you're at? I wanted those questions answered. And it was always some kind of like, well, buy my whatever. I was broke. I didn't have it. So I was like, dang, I gotta figure this out on my own. I gotta figure it out. I'm capable. So I started off, my mantra when I was, 10 years ago was, I'm capable, I'm capable, I'm capable. I worked with kids with autism for 5 years. And let me tell you something. If you want to be humbled, go spend time with special needs. Go spend time at the School for the Blind. Go spend time in the shelters. Because being humbled is the perfect way to get inspired, to become greater, to also find that gratitude within yourself, to say, I've got 2 hands, 2 legs, all 5 senses, maybe 3, I don't know. But it makes you feel more thankful. And that's what I needed. I needed to find gratitude because I was really angry. And I think the shelters was the perfect place to go to and start. Because I never got paid for it, not once in 4 years. There were times when I was literally in my last $10 and I could have put it in my gas, but instead I'd buy a book, and I always did a raffle. And my best friend's in the audience. She knows, she's shaking her head like, yep, I remember. And then if I had any money left, I'd go and buy a beer because that was my thing, to go celebrate, because I believed in celebration. Well, the book came 5 years ago when I wanted to do something for myself, and I thought, I don't know what to write about, but I'm really good at one thing, and I think this would be the best thing to write about. I'm really good at dating men and having fun with it. So I decided, and I got inspired by the movie The Notebook, and she has Alzheimer's, and the man comes back and he reads her stories to her, and I thought, early dementia runs in my life, or my family, so if that's me one day, I want people to read my stories back to me. And that was my first big reason to write a book. I didn't want to become an author. I wanted to have a book for my friends and my family just in case I had Alzheimer's. The second reason was just in case I died. Because you never know when your number's up. And I thought, well, if I could leave anything behind for them to remember me by, it's going to be a book of the fun times. Well, I never, ever imagined this book was going to turn into my therapy. Because I'm a hard ass. I don't go to therapy. But let me tell you, the Great Spirit will catch you. It doesn't matter. What you resist will persist in your life. It will keep coming to you. Mm-hmm. So I wrote this book, and things started to turn around. I felt like it was turning into something of a real author. It's like, oh my goodness. 5 editors later, $8,000 in. I thought, because I'm a perfectionist, I have to have it my way. I kept visualizing and visualizing. I kept seeing it and shaping it. And this is how I meditated a lot. I see with my eyes open, and I can see the picture, and I see where I'm going. And I knew this book had to be written. So everything was going my way for once. Ha! Yes! Okay, my son loves me. Everything's great. We got a great relationship. My friends love me. I'm writing a book. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to have money. Everything was working out. I had a job. Like, everything was amazing. I only had one job. Oh, my goodness. I put together a book trailer. And, again, I produced it. I visualized it. If you haven't seen my book trailer, go on sexyfreedom.com. It's there. And it was one of the most proudest things I've ever done because I fit in 2 minutes this whole idea of who I am. There's many parts of me. There's Thug Helen. There's Hippie Helen. There's Traveling Helen. There's Sexy Helen. There's Broken Helen. There's so many parts of me. And the book trailer came out. I was so excited. I was telling everybody, oh my God, it's almost done. I'm going on Facebook Live tomorrow. That was 1 year ago today, or 1 year ago, around this time. And I was never so proud of myself. And I talked to my siblings again, my sisters and my brother, and I said, you guys, it's gonna happen. I'm coming up. I want the world to know. I was feeling it. Things were happening for me. My son was proud of me. I launched my book trailer. And then my mom called me and told me that my brother had killed himself. A year ago. Now, if you have siblings or you got people that you love has been in your life for your whole life, see, I'm the big sister. I've changed diapers of his. I held his hand and walked across the street. I babysat him when mom wasn't around. This man has been in my life my whole life. I was his protector. My brother died with $32 in his bank account. And I soon learned that he had made a call to his kid's mom and said he was having trouble paying child support. He was sleeping on somebody's couch. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm a nomad. I sleep on people's couches for a living. I move 3 to 5 times a year. I love to be moving around. And I'd spent all my money on this book. So we were in the same exact place. And I was so angry because he tapped out. I had a plan. We had a plan. We were supposed to execute it, and he tapped out. And I felt left alone and angry. But I didn't wild out this time because at this time in my life, I had learned some key elements. I learned how to nurture my warrior. My warrior decided, it's time. It's time. We're going to do this together. We're going to fight for you. Because I wanted to join my brother. Because I'm just tired. You get tired in life. You get tired of the pursuits. You get tired. And it just seems easier just to stop it all. I felt horrible for my sisters, for my brother's lovers, for my brother's kids, for his kids' mom who blamed herself. Most of all for my mom. No parent should have to lose their child. I couldn't imagine losing my child. My mom's a wild woman. She rides Harleys, long distance. She's about to be 60 this year. She's the strongest woman I know. She laughs. She's in pain, but she has 4 other girls, and she's so proud of us. At the time, I was teaching yoga in the jails because I'm always a person who contributes. I contribute, I give back. That's what I do. My book launch was coming up. My book was about to be published. And I felt so weird about publishing my book. I had a pen name. The pen name was Italia Demora, also my alter ego. Well, at the last minute, I decided if I'm going to do this book, because this book is all about truth, And if I'm going to do this book, then I'm going to change the name to My Name, Helen Edwards. And I'm going to go all in. So I did that. And then I decided if I'm going to do this book, I want it to be a book that's going to help other people. Because it's going to help me, because it's helping me right now. So I dedicated the last chapter to suicide awareness and to my brother. And I give a lot of tips in there of how I made it through without taking my own life and how I'm going to continue to make it through. So it's not a book that ends with like a love story. But this past year has been immensely, immensely hard. My warrior's fighting for me, my healer's helping me heal, but my demon is going haywire, because this was devastating. The same jail that I was teaching at, I ended up in this past year. I was on house arrest. I went through a storm, boom, 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 boom. As soon as I was off house arrest, I got in a car accident. I ended up in the hospital. And my son asked me not to come to his high school graduation. And I just thought, God, okay. And there was a moment when I was on house arrest and I literally laid down and I thought, I'm going to get depressed. But then my warrior was like, the hell you are? You worked way too hard to get to this point. There's no getting depressed this time. No, this is the time. This is your opportunity. Your opportunity to practice what you preach. Mm-hmm. To do what needs to be done. To make those moves and move forward. You're over there, the how-to girl. Well, this is how you do it. One step at a time. That's how you got to do it. So I did. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to take this opportunity while I'm on house arrest. I'm going to do some yoga videos and just hide that little thing. And read. When's the last time you read a book? And meditate and pray. Play with my hair. Go on some dating apps. You know, gotta live a little while you're stuck inside. And I thought to myself, just wait till I'm out of the storm. Ooh, Lord, just wait till I'm out of this storm. Just wait till this bird gets to fly again. And I did. So my son invited me to his Air Force graduations coming up in December. Woo! Yeah. And I would tell my friends and family, 2 years ago, I got out of $13,000 debt. And I knew, in order for me to fly forward, I need to get out of debt. Because like I said, money was a big issue for me, and I learned how to save, I learned how to pay, because I don't want to be a slave to the lender. Because true freedom to me means being free from many things, including money and debt. So I got knocked out most of my debt, but the debt that still hung over me was child support, back child support. And let me tell you guys, if you ever have to pay back or any child support, it's awful. It's awful. You feel tied to the system. You feel tied to the person who's put that on you. It's a thorn. It was a thorn in my side, and I just would always tell my friends and family, just wait till I pay that off. Oh my God! Once I pay that off, I'm gonna fly. Well, a week ago, no, today's Saturday. Earlier this week, I received an anonymous phone call. And the person on the other line said, you know, I'm coming across some money, and I've read your book, and I know what you've been doing for the last 10 years. And I believe that if you didn't have this debt, you would be of greater purpose in this life. You would be of greater use. So they said they would like to pay my child support. Well, I was like, okay, you know, you can help me anytime you want. You could just make the payment. Thank you. And the more we talked, they said, I'm telling you, I prayed about this and prayed about this and prayed about this. And they said, every time I was done praying for the last couple of weeks, you're the one who came to my mind. You're the one who came to my heart. And the more we talked, I said, wait. I feel like I'm missing something here. Are you talking about you want to pay my whole child support? Like everything I owe? And they said, yes. Mm. And I said, whoa. Okay, hold up now. I start confessing my sins and shit. Like, okay, I've had this chance. Okay, I've already had this chance. Are you sure you want to do this? Because I had the money to pay the child support many times. But I put it in my book. I put it in these events. I put it in these workshops. I got my hair and nails done sometimes. Are you sure? There's kids that need it. There's kids out there starving. There's other charities you can give it to. Are you sure you want to give it to me? Yes. They said, well, it's not really me, it's God. I said, well, I'm not converting to Jesus. I just hope you know that. Like, me and the Great Spirit, we got a thing going on. And I'm good with that. They said, don't worry. No, that's not the point. And I started crying. I was like, this is unbelievable. No way. Somebody wants to pay my debt? This kind of stuff doesn't happen to people like me. I don't know anybody that this has happened to. So I got off the phone. Well, before I got off the phone, I said, if you change your mind, I just want you to know it's the thought that counts. And then 2 days later, Thursday, I got a text that the transaction went through. So I immediately got off work, ran home. I video logged it and everything. I was like, this is going down. Took pictures and shit like I'm on, a photo shoot. Pressing the button, here it is. Screenshot it. They paid off $7,959.84 of my debt. Wow. Asked for nothing in return except that I keep them anonymous. Now, I don't even know if I'd pay that off for somebody. But to have somebody to believe in me and what I'm supposed to do in this world, that's insane. I didn't tell them that. They're probably hearing it now. But it's just, that's love. That's people loving people. That's people believing in people. That's the Great Spirit giving me a sign that I'm on the right track. Mm-hmm. And like I said, that just touched me so much. My goal is not just become a best-selling author. My goal is to be kind, to be cool, to help others rise alongside with me. Because there's an abundance of love, an abundance of joy. There's an abundance of money that we can all help one another with. And if you want to know how, come to me. I'll tell you how. If you got goals, we could set up a plan. It's not easy. But nothing is, obviously. We all know that. I get it. It's not easy. My fear now is, what is it going to cost me again? What's it going to cost me to become great? Because I'm losing people. And grief just keeps showing up. But something that I've learned about grief is that it's a teacher. Just like everything else is a teacher. And I don't have to be the smartest person to be on the stage. I don't have to be the person that's went through it all. And, you don't have to have the suffering. You don't have to have the story that I have or something that bad happened. You don't have to have that. Let me tell you what's good enough to get up and help others. The light that's within you. Yeah. That's already good enough. We got this idea that I've got to have this pain. I've got to have something tragic happen to me for me to help others. That's not real. Your light is what helps others. Your sharing is caring is what helps others. Being cool and kind to people in the supermarket. Letting somebody cut in front of you without spending all that energy being angry. That's the light. That's your spirit breaking through your skin. Your spirit is like, I know you want to live in the flesh. And it was fun for a while, I'll admit it. But we got shit to do. We got things to do. We got worlds to change. We got people to help. Because I believe we're all here on this planet to do greatness, to be greatness. Because it really is a spiritual experience. And that's why there's so much controversy within you. Because you're only fighting with your demon, your healer, and your warrior. There can be harmony. So I'm going to leave you with this. Believe in yourself. Be badass for yourself. Stop messing with the bullshit. Stop drinking all the crap that's hurting your body. Unless it's to celebrate, I'm just saying. Stop hurting other people because you're hurting. Stop blaming your past. Stop blaming other people for the shit you don't have. Take responsibility for your life, for your actions, for your emotions. Find out what's going on with your body. Learn what your hormones are because they're dictating your emotions. Learn what your money's doing for you. And execute your goals. Don't wait for other people to do it. Don't wait till you're ready. Because your number can be done tomorrow. Your friend beside you could be gone tomorrow. Your brother, your sister, your mom, your child can be gone tomorrow, today. Stop waiting. Stop waiting, start participating. Thank you.